that all in. But TSM looks like they are going to be willing to just kind of play this fairly defensively on the bot side and look to focus more towards the top side, probably trying to shut down Xmithy and bring this game towards team fights.
Yeah, last pick Corki is a triple marksman actually for IMT, although Corki of course is the magical marksman, so not going to be a problem with the damage types, which is always nice, but very stable 5v5 on the IMT side as well. Nothing fancy, but a lot of good farming champions, a lot of good damage, simple CC. Keeping it straightforward, I think, against TSM.
They have a lot of damage, but my concern is, when you have 3 marksmen and you're playing against a team that dives, if you ever aren't actually like you're properly spread out, if you're grouped up, what generally happens when the Wukong flies in there with an ult and he's sped up by Zilean with bombs on his head is everyone scatters and the damage really just starts to fall off. People aren't actually able to attack as effectively. So I'm going to be interested to see if they can actually set it up properly to have these team fights where their backline is not being reached. I think a lot of the onus is going to be on the Ornn, is going to be on the Thresh to try to keep these guys actually safe because the dive is very powerful, and especially when you have relatively low mobility marksmen like the Ashe, you get pillared in by the Trundle, you get dove on by the Wukong with bombs on his head. Like, it feels pretty tough to actually escape that from the side of Immortals.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how TSM play with yet another different Zilean comp. It's actually now sad, reflecting that they banned Bard, because Bard Zilean is one of TSM's most potent threats when Bifrost was on the team playing Bard. Now again, but all the way back in the day. But like this, like Bjergsen literally, I feel like has just picked Zilean like in so many different comps. Like, they always find a way to make it work. Just a testament to his mastery on the champion. And he was talking about this in his Pro of the Week interview, where he's like, I've been playing for so long that if there's a champion we think that can come back into the meta, chances are I probably have enough games on it to be like, sure, I'll try it. And then they try it, and it either works or it doesn't. And it's very easy for him to go in and out of a wide range of champions.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Zilean is just kind of an underrated pick in general. I do think it's one of those champions that a lot of mid laners don't feel super comfortable playing, and that's the main reason that it actually is staying out of the meta. People sometimes can struggle with the laning. People, just aren't as comfortable on this champion. It's almost like one of those things where, we used to see with Aurelion Sol, where it was like very clearly strong on a few players, but no one else ever touched it. And it does kind of feel like it's in that bucket. But I tend to think that Zilean, when played by, people who have a high level of mastery over it, is fairly safe as a blind pick, is incredibly strong with divers, is incredibly strong with hyperscaling marksmen, so it's going to work great with both the Wukong and the Aphelios. So I am excited to see how this plays out. I tend to favor TSM's comp here. I just think that the execution is pretty easy as far as what they are trying to do. Immortals is going to have to really do a good job, I think, spreading in team fights, kiting it out, being able to absorb the initial engage from the Wukong if they want to survive.
And of course, we'll look to Xmithy. He's got the more aggressive side of the jungle matchup. Speaker went with the Trundle, had the option of going to Graves, but decided that he wanted to take something a little bit more defensive, a bit more team-oriented. So IMT have had, again, like lots of close games recently. This is quite a tall task to topple TSM, but they almost did it against TL. If they're certainly trying to prove that, hey, this team is capable. I think we've seen that even in their close losses. So how well can they perform against TSM, a team that is also looking to prove themselves here in the league, but not that they're a contender, but that they are the definitive second-place team?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of at that point where, does Hakuo spot that? Yeah, okay. He should be fine. That was actually a nice little angle of approach, because if Hakuo was even like one step further back in that brush, you wouldn't actually have the angle to have people invading from there. I do like that mid lane invade. I also love the one where you actually wrap around through bot lane and come around through the brush. Just some of these less common invade angles can actually work really, really well. I'm a big fan of level 1 invades. It's pretty fun to try to go for in your games.
I don't know if I've ever seen it, but like I'd be down for something really wild, like everyone takes Hex Flash, 5-man flash over the Dragon Ball, and then like Hex Flash over some other wall. You could definitely get get creative.
Yeah, you could go for it. You could definitely go all in for it. Those are a little bit more spicy than maybe I'm looking for, but I'm definitely down for the 5-man group up, walk somewhere unexpected, hope you get a free kill. Yeah, it's a solid strategy for solo queue for sure.
Certainly is, and hey, works sometimes in the LCS, so not this time. IMT spotting it went out nicely, but blue start here for Xmithy, same side for Speaker. They will be moving towards opposite sides of the jungle. However, I think we're probably expecting these two champions to want to farm it out anyway. So, it is Ignite Graves too, though.
Yep. Yep, so it is Ignite Phase Rush. And I mean, Graves wants to farm, but he wants to farm his opponent's jungle. He doesn't want to farm his jungle, right? And that's really the kind of defining thing here. In this meta with a lot of the power farmers, you know, some of them aren't as good at the actual ganks. You know, Graves, sure, he can gank if you're really pushed up and he can kind of just walk up behind you and run you down, or if you have a really good gank setup. But in general, Graves succeeds at a high level because he wins the duel against his opponent in the jungle, and then he just farms their raptors, you know, he steals away their buffs, and he's consistently invading, and that's how he's really kind of creating these huge advantages, and then retreats back to his side of the jungle to farm. You know, if you're going to play Graves into Trundle, and especially Ignite Graves into Trundle, and just farm it up until teamfight time, then you're pretty much trolling. Like, you're really just not getting enough out of it. Because, you know, especially against compositions that have heavy dive like this, I do think Graves can struggle to stay safe. And Ignite is just not really going to be anywhere near as effective as Flash, generally speaking, in a team fight. It's more about that 1v1 and kind of asserting your dominance with, you know, low summoner spell cooldown, with Nimbus Cloak, with Phase Rush, trying to slam this Trundle.
Yep, for sure. And we'll see if Xmithie does look to get aggressive in a moment. The other kind of early game note here is actually on Bjergsen. He's going for Glacial Augment in this game, which is like a totally sensible keystone on Zilean. I think the thing that's really interesting for me is that this likely changes his build path. You see a lot of Rod of Ages, lots of tears on Zilean, wanting to build up that mana pool. But when you have Augment, you almost always want to have at least one item that pairs with it. So whether that's Twin Shadows or GLP, I'm curious to see how Bjergsen build changes with this keystone.
Yeah, it's going to be Hextech GLP almost 100%. Just because you need the Lost Chapter, you need to have some sort of mana, you know, on Zilean, or you will just completely so, you know, you can expect them to rush Lost Chapter, go Hextech GLP. I do think that we will see Spooky Ghost after that, but you are right in that it's not guaranteed to go the second. Sometimes people will be, you know, going towards a death cap or things like that, or a defensive item if they really feel like they need it. But I tend to favor just going for the double active items whenever you are playing this. It sets up so well for your bombs. Zilean champion that I really do like to play, you know, mid lane, and having those just makes it a lot easier to land the bombs. You don't really need to do anything too fancy. You know, send out Spooky Ghosts, they slow them down, you get a range for the E-slow, and you're pretty much guaranteed for the double bomb.
Well, good wrap here from Speaker, looking for Insanity. Valkyrie out, going to get slowed by Chilling Smite, though. That'll force a flash. Insanity, though, will stay alive.
I think Spica maybe could have just held the pillar a bit longer and tried to get into melee range first. But at the very least, you know, they did force a flash, and it didn't actually cost them any summoners themselves, so it's still a very good gank. But you can actually interrupt Valkyrie with pillar, I do believe, so that is something that you can attempt to do there. Either way, still didn't really take him much time at all, so that was just a quick, easy gank. He's about tied with Graves in farm. You know, he is doing the Gromp right now, and then he'll be pretty much dead even. So he's got to be pretty happy about how this early game has gone.
Yep, of note with Corki and interruptions, the package makes you unstoppable when you activate it, but that same is not true for Valkyrie. So you are correct. Could have seen some fancy pillar interrupt, but like you said, very high value, low effort attempt there for Speaker, just getting the summoner nice and cleanly. Colo is up for Insanity, so he has returned to farm some more and get a little bit of extra gold at the end of the day.
But even, I mean, even just the fact that you actually forced him to base, you know, a little bit earlier and spend that gold earlier is pretty big deal. Pretty much every Corki these days is going for the tier build. You know, you go Presence of Mind, you stack up the tier, you're getting a lot of on-hit damage with that. So the fact that you do have to base early, you know, Corkis aren't always going to your first item. A lot of times they're going for, you know, the pickaxe for a little bit more damage. But either way, it doesn't have the best base timing. So Cull plus Fairy Charm isn't the most exciting of buys. Xmithie, though, will be starting up the dragon here, and it looks like this just should be theirs. You know, they had a nice timing on the base from Doublelift and Biofrost. You know, they knew that they went back. They knew that they had this timing to go towards the dragon, and Xmithie's going to grab the first one, so we'll see if Immortals can continue to stack those as they come up.
Yep, and here in top lane, I guess we'll have a look in with the Wukong here for Broken Blade. This was his counter pick. Did see the on early, so this is maybe one of the few instances where Wukong actually feels like he can kind of do some stuff 1v1. Most of the Wukong matchups we've seen, Wukong just getting beat up for 15 minutes. But CS is nice and even. I don't think there's anything too exciting happening right now. Both these champions much more effective in team fights anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, it's one of those picks. Like, he did pick it second, but he's picking Wukong more for, you know, how it actually works with the Zilean and more for the team fighting. You know, you can definitely win this matchup against the Ornn. You know, the extended fights where you're actually stacking up your passive and your regens going up and up and up on Wukong, especially with Conquer. You can definitely start to win those, but if Ornn doesn't want to fight you, and is just looking to farm, it's pretty difficult to actually punish this champion. So we can see Broken Blade going towards the Cull, expecting that it is just going to be that farm lane, and going to be looking towards team fights.
Yep. No excitement just yet, although Smithy going to make things interesting. Still has that Ignite, and Alorum does have the ulti, so we'll see if they can line it up here. Broken Blade dashing in, getting the ulti out. That's a decent bait here for Alorum. Now the on ulti, ooh, wrong one, and there's the knock-up again to protect himself. Very nice escape from Broken Blade.
Yeah, able to just juke out there. Really was just a guess on the redirect from Alorum. He doesn't know which way you're actually going to go with the clone. You have that little mini hop, so guessed wrong, and when that missed, it was pretty much over on the gank. They didn't even get the flash, so a nice avoidance there by Broken Blade. He is going to be able to farm the wave. He doesn't even take damage, so he's not really pushed back whatsoever. But at the very least, what Xwithyu is doing there is actually covering the push, right? Because when Alorum is actually pushing up that far, if Spica was waiting in that brush, you have the potential to actually get knocked down, so you do have to be a little bit careful about that.
Surprise Zillion. Spica here as well. Pops the ulti, actually, getting in there. Ignite used by Xmithy, and Nimbus Click is out of there, I think.
Yep.
And he's going to walk away.
Yep, procs the phase rush, has the Nimbus Cloak up, and then you're just kind of zooming on out of there. So not too bad from Xmithy, but nice little attempt from Spica as well as Bjergsen. As funny as it sounds, like I almost feel that Spica would have had to play it more slowly. Like you drop the pillar and then you try to stay out of auto range so you can't proc the Nimbus Cloak and the phase rush as easily. But they probably wouldn't have enough damage to actually get a kill in that situation either. So a little bit of pressure, doesn't really amount to much. It's kind of just the way that this game, I think, was drafted out. You're going to see a pretty slow game. There's not a lot of lanes that are really easy to gank. And Immortals will be starting up this Rift Herald. They were spotted walking through mid, so there's pretty much everyone topside except for Doublelift. And Doublelift has no sums, so I don't think he's planning on coming up for this. We'll see if TSM wants to fight anyway.
Broken Blade's here, but he's got no ulti. Good arrow there from Apollo. Going to start things off with a Bifrost, and now a little too deep, I think, for Broken Blade. He's going to have to flash out of there. The rest of IMT are chasing them down. First Blood's on the table, and who's going to collect it? It is indeed Hakuo with the First Blood kill.
What was he doing? Did he forget he used his ultimate or something? Like, that was bizarre. Your marksman is bot lane. It's not like Doublelift was planning on moving at all. I think anything more than just staying kind of on the outer range and maybe looking for an opportunity at Smite Steal just doesn't make any sense. And Broken Blade just eat into the middle of their whole team pretty much and died. Gives away First Blood, does have to flash as well. And Broken Blade, was coming off of a pretty tough game. His Mord game did not look very good against C9. Yes, he got picked on by the jungle, but this was pretty much an unforced error from him. Going in without the ulti, without the rest of his team there, is never going to really work out. And Immortals get the first blood, get the first turret, and as a result, almost 2,000 gold ahead, just like that.
Yeah, very significant lead here as we just hit 10 minutes. 2 of the 3 IMT marksmen able to easily take out the tower in top lane. Also like the TP for Alorum to cover bots. So just a good general use of resources for Immortals, having that Herald swap ready to go. And yeah, I think unforced error is the absolute best way to describe that situation. So we'll just move on for now.
I mean, I think it's fine for TSM to move up and try to see, like, oh, hey, is there some sort of angle where we can poke with bombs and maybe go for a Smite Steal? And then the worst case, you still have 4 people alive and Doublelift's pushing bot, so then you use those 4 members to actually defend a turret while Doublelift gets farm on bot side. That all makes sense. Everything, made sense, minus Broken Blade going in. But either way, TSM, as a result, are going to be down a bit. They have closed that gold lead a bit, picked up some plates down here, and Doublelift, at least, in that 1v1, should be a bit ahead of Apollo. He is up in farm, but Apollo did get some of that local gold off the tower, so I'm not sure exactly how that math is going to work out, but he was getting solo farm and solo experience, so Doublelift will be at a bit of an edge there. And Zillion obviously does have the passive to donate even more experience, so usually you do want to kind of continue to pool that and pump that into your marksman, try to really get them going, get some levels on the Aphelios. You can also look towards your other soul lanes or whatever, but getting double at the head could be a really big deal.
Yep, also a 5v5 is on the horizon here around this Ocean Drake. TSM have already started it, Broken Blade looking for the flank. This time I can confirm he does have his ultimate.
Doesn't have his flash though.
Yeah, and gonna get spotted also. There's also Apollo ready with the ulti. Good
nice
stun
clone
there, but that is the wrong one. Broken Blade's out of there.
Oh, you hate to see it if you're Immortals. but let's see if they can get it.
All right. Drake actually stolen by Apollo once again. This man just steals all the objectives, and I think Firefrost's going to be left out to dry. Indeed he is. It's Insanity that'll pick up that kill.
What a disaster. It started off so well. This time, Broken Blade actually drew a lot of pressure. He goes in with the flank. Is he going to die now? He doesn't have flash. Yeah, he's just going to die. Jeez.
Gets out of there. Zillion ulti's going to keep him alive. Bjergsen there with the save. Insanity wants it. Bjergsen's going to have to block the big one that was incoming as he bombs up the wave and tries to stay safe. But the pressure is continuing here. Wave is gone now, though, so it's just going to be demolished for a little bit of extra plate gold. But IMT playing the early stages of this game very well.
Yeah, they are. TSM is making some errors and really getting punished for that. I mean, Broken Blade, you would think they would win the fight off that, right? It's ult from Ashe gets cloned. That actually forces out a flash hook as well, and now Doublelift's way overextended. He's just
ignited.
dead too.
Yeah, Bifrost Gravitum is going to seal the death, and it's going to be an easy kill. The duo of TSM is going to fall. It's Smithy. He's going to grab himself the double kill.
Like they have a pink in the river. They know everyone's missing. No one's showing in the lanes except for Corki. No one's showing topside. TSM just feels like, I don't know, man. Like this is like a lack of like mental focus or something. Like these are some really, really sloppy plays from TSM. Just kind of Broken Blade a couple times, kind of walking up and dying. Down here on the bot side, they see Smithy, and Doublelift is just going to get chased down. They just didn't keep eyes on where all of Immortals could be. Didn't expect them to be here, and it's 2 easy kills for Immortals. They missed the smite on the dragon. Smithy didn't even use his smite. Spica actually just missed it, and it went to a volley. So a lot of things are going Immortals' way, and as much as you want to say, oh well, TSM, TSM is a stronger team. They should be able to win it. It's like, well, you're giving over 2 dragons. You're giving over a soul win condition now. You're thousands of gold behind because of all these errors, and they're just potentially like 8-9 minutes away if they can take these dragons on spawn from having Infernal Soul, and they have good scaling. So it's not like you can just depend on your late game for free. So TSM is really going to have to shape up in these next couple of minutes, or potentially could just lose this game.
Yeah, and I think we are going to be looking to just a lot more coordination in the 5v5s for TSM. We haven't seen a Wukong ulti in a team fight yet at all. We haven't seen how it potentially works with the Zilean. And on Zilean, actually, shout out to the LOL Esports Stats Twitter, Zilean has the most... Bjergsen has the most Zilean games in LCS of all time. No surprises there. 18-6 on the champion. His KDA is currently 11.1 with 517 damage per minute, and he hasn't improved or decreased his KDA just yet. So all those stats are true as of this exact moment.
I mean, he's an incredible Zilean player. Jensen, another guy that does play the Zilean, also, gets a lot of credit for that. Bjergsen, obviously, one of the main Zilean players in the league, though, has been really, really good at it for a long time. And yeah, I mean, I agree. You want to see the coordination on the 5v5 from TSM because that's kind of what they drafted for. But a lot of their errors have mostly just seemed like lapse in judgment or lapse in focus, where they're kind of just walking up and not really paying attention to where their opponents could be and dying. That's twice really. The second one was actually kind of saved by Bjergsen, as Broken Blade didn't die because he got the Zilean ulti, but clearing mid lane there was very dangerous, going into the dragon, their bot lane getting caught. So a lot of sloppy plays. They've got to clean that up, try to stay untiltable, but you're down 4,000 gold. Infernal spawns in a minute 30. And Immortals are going to be in a great place to take it. They have a lot of vision control already around that Dragon Pit. They have the ability to spot out a lot of the angles that you could come from with the Hawk shot. So they will be well prepared for this, you would think.
Yeah, I think this next Dragon fight is a huge inflection point in what direction this game is going. It really is the point where TSM needs to try and stabilize the game. Otherwise, I think Immortals are just going to keep that snowball very quickly rolling down the mountain. As Insanity with the package should be able to finish off this tower as well. Bjergsen's going to try and interrupt him, but again, as we discussed earlier, cannot interrupt Corki's package, so easy take for Insanity there. Very, very safe.
And I mean, that's 5,000 gold, and they just got the Rift now as well, so they can drop that mid when the Infernal is going to spawn. If they get that mid turret, that's 6,000 gold lead. Like, it is really starting to snowball a lot. Corki, Graves are going to be really dangerous later. Ornn is obviously a strong team fighter. I do think that the dive is great from TSM, but when you play all-in style compositions, kind of like they are playing, they suck from behind because you don't hit this certain threshold where you have enough damage to actually burst people down. So TSM have got to be careful about falling really any further behind. I think what Immortals is going to do here, they have vision around the dragon. They should walk mid, drop Herald, then go over to the Dragon Pit and look to put themselves at Soul Point.
Double lift also is diveable right now, not based on the info they currently have because they can't see everyone. But just going to look to take this tower. Herald has dropped, as you mentioned. That will be able to finish off the tower when it makes it.
Yep.
So Apollo just going to score to live in.
So. Yeah, this is going to be a dead turret here, you know, as long as it gets its charge off, which is, it very well should. Xmithie's already doing the dragon. TSM are not going to contest it, so they will lose the dragon. They will lose the turret. They are, you know, over, well, geez, like 5,000 plus gold behind. You know, top lane is being defended, so Immortals are kind of just winning all fronts. It's not even like, you know, they were getting turret damage on the top side. Alorum never even came down. And TSM just feeling like, all right, we're so far behind, we just have to give everything right now. And they have made the decision that it's going to be essentially one last stand for Soul in 5 minutes. You know, that is where we're going to see TSM fight, and that is very likely where the game will just be decided now, you know, based on how TSM have played. If you give up that Soul, I don't think you're winning this game at all.
And it's going to have to be something. We'll see what happens here in the top lane, though. Broken Lit already started it onto Alorum. Zillion, this should be. Yes, it is. Bjergsen rolling in. 3v1 right now, but Tom Kench is coming in to make it 5v1, and Alorum absolutely dead to Speaker as Broken Blade will be revived by the ulti. But the rest of IMT are here. Apollo already fired off the Ash Arrow, but going to chase in for Xmithie. Ooh, Xmithie picks him up with the ulti. Broken Blade kind of flashed into that one, and IMT at least got a trade.
Yeah, I mean, that Graves ultimate is such a big cone. It's very difficult to know exactly where it's going. You know, the projectile's pretty hard to read, too. So they do get the trade. They defend the tower. It does cost them teleport off Insanity, but, you know, flash down off of Broken Blade, TP down off of Bjergsen, and the Immortals are looking to actually continue this pressure here, taking away the Scuttle, looking to threaten for that blue buff. Also, you can see Insanity now done his 2 items. He's on Triforce, you know, looking to stack up his Muramana there. And Alorum is getting close to that level 13 where he can get the first Ornn upgrade. So he is working towards his Abyssal Mask, already has the Sunfire, so trying to get in a position to get that big influx of power. You know, it's about 3,000 gold of stats when you have those 2 items completed and you do ding 13.
Otherwise, TSM at least on the scoreboard, which is good. That is also quite the gold graph. The 3 marksmen are very far ahead of everybody else.
Yeah. And you can see poor Biofrost down at the bottom. You know, you do become pretty poor as a support. You're very reliant on things kind of going your way as far as taking turrets and getting kills and assists and all that sort of stuff to get a lot of your gold income. And Biofrost, who has gotten none of that, as TSM haven't taken a turret yet, is going to be really, really poor as a result. So Tom Kench will be more squishy. Obviously, it's not as big of a deal because it is just Tom Kench, but you know, the 3 carries at the top is really the issue here, you know, for TSM, because those 3 marksmen are all going to be incredibly strong. 3 marksmen all have their 2-item power spike, so they are going to be fully online, ready to go for this next fight. And you know, if I was Immortals, I would even be like saving up 500 gold and buying, you know, buying a flask there, like buying up your elixirs, getting it as strong as possible. You know, if you have triple like Wrath on your marksman at that point in the game, like it's so much extra stats for an early fight. And yeah, usually people don't buy the elixirs until late in the game, until they're at 6 items. But I think when you're on soul point at 22 minutes, I think you should spend the gold and just try to win the game right now.
Yeah, certainly is an argument to be made for, you know, IMT just pushing the limit as far as, you know, snowballing this current point of the game. Because as you mentioned, this soul is hugely important for TSM to try and contest.
Get stopwatch, get elixirs, get something, get whatever the most possible one fight power you can have is what you want right now as your Immortals. And same thing for TSM, honestly, because if they lose this fight and they lose the dragon, I think the game's just over.
So minute 33, Bjergsen is going to juke out the arrow in the smoke screen. He is. Nice pillar from Speaker, though. That will disengage Bjerg from the potential gank. Still a minute 20 to set up for this dragon, though. So a bit of time for TSM to get back, spend their money, and maybe try and get some vision. Certainly not going to be an easy team fight to try and win, but TSM have basically said, we are going to fight at this point no matter what, because they realize they have to.
Yeah, you absolutely have to, and the good part is it's usually like 3 items and more where the kind of luxury defensive items start coming through for your opponents. So TSM, while they are behind in gold, they are behind in offensive power. There's no like Death Dance and GA and all this sort of stuff, you know, coming through for the marksmen. So it's still possible to burst these guys down. They do have to execute well. They are at a disadvantage, don't get me wrong. But, you know, if you get on top of the Ashe, if you get on top of Xmithy and Corki, you can still kill him.
There's Broken Blade charging in onto Xmithy, gonna get the spin again. Here's the Cyclone, but that's not enough to get a kill. The Zillion ulti is nice, but there's the counter
Here comes
auto
Corki
ulti,
with
Broken Blade has
package.
to get out of there. Broken Blade flayed back, he's dead to Xmithy. Now it's a 5v4, and Insanity is charging down mid lane. Bifrost's gonna eat the hook. Nice cleanse, though, that he had with the swap spellbook, but Insanity maybe a little too far forward this time. Gonna back away as the Lantern was not clicked on, but he did get out safely. And a good attempt on Insanity's life at TSM. They get the fight, they try it, but it just doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, this is kind of becoming the signature play from Insanity to me, though. Like, he plays so well, and then he gets greedy for trying to get too much. Why not just hold the package? Imagine if you're 100% HP with package right now as you're starting up this dragon. It becomes impossible for TSM to approach. They still may not be able to get it. Nice hook on Bjergsen.
Into the arrow as well. That's such a good combo from the IMT duo lane. And Speaker is completely zoned out this dragon, by the way, so he is not getting it at all. That's going to be a very clean Infernal Soul, sorry.
That's
take
Soul.
by Immortals. Yeah.
Ouch. It feels like it's time to get out the game, TSM. Immortals is coming through. They are running you over. Over 6,000 gold ahead. Soul completed. Or an upgraded items, you know, online. Going to be continually pumping in those upgrades. TSM is completely up against it. It's going to take a miracle now, and Insanity did get a bit over aggressive there. Doesn't get punished, but you know those plays from him, you know, he's able to pull them off sometimes, and they do look good. But Immortals, when we were talking about some of the highlights that they had last week, when they almost beat both EG and Team Liquid, they kind of fell flat off of Insanity once when they were potentially able to end the game, trying to go in for this big Azir play. Then another game, trying to go for the shockwave and actually, not moving the ball before getting it. This looked like one of those moments to me where it was, a bridge too far. You're Valkyrie 1v4 in, and he does survive and flashes out. But it's those kind of plays where you need to be able to figure out, is it worth it?
Broken Blade gonna have to get out of there, but the TP in on the wrong side. It means Broken Blade's gonna have a struggle to get out of here. No, sorry, it is Bjergsen. I take it all back. My colors are tricky, but that is gonna be a kill onto Insanity. Surely, yes, Bjergsen's able to take it. Now Alorum gonna have to get out of there. A very nice TP from TSM to at least get a second kill.
Yeah, good job by TSM. They need to get these kind of picks. Mortals do go for that play down on the bottom side. Spica able to respond, though. He was in the area. Bjergsen TP's in. They don't even force out that Zillion ultimate, so good job. And it is a big kill, taking out that Corki, slowing him down a little bit. It is going to be important. So, Bjergsen been playing really, really well this split and is trying again here to make things happen. You can see the pings from TSM over towards the Baron. They know that Immortals has incredible Baron damage, so they want to be careful.
Bjergsen just face checking. He's going to have to ult himself there. Going to get the stun to Hakuo, and there's the follow-up arrow from Apollo. Hakuo into stasis he goes, with the rest of TSM are here to chase. Make it kill number 3. Bomb's going to go off. And that's going to be a double lift, actually, with the auto attack at the end for it. Make it 3 kills now for TSM. They're slowly racking them up, Isaac.
Yeah, good pick. I mean, again, they get a kill. Back-to-back kills now. They do force out the stopwatch, so that is nice also. Hakuo nowhere even close to a stone plate or anything like that. Now TSM able to pick up a top turret off that. They're pushing the bottom turret off that. So this is the first bit of momentum they've really gotten in the game. Over this last couple of minutes, those 2 kills plus 2 turrets gets them on the board. They are slowly starting to claw their way back in. Have cut this down from a 6,000 plus gold lead to just about 3.5. But it is still Infernal Soul you're up against. It is still Ornn items that are going to be unlocked here and upgraded pretty soon. So that is a very, very risky spot for TSM. We'll see if they can actually, execute on these team fights, or if Immortals continues to play sloppy. If TSM keeps picking up pick after pick, they can scrape their way back into the game and potentially look to something like that Elder Dragon. But, they've got to keep eyes on the Baron. They've got to keep eyes in this area, because with triple marksman, you can kill this so damn fast if you do not keep track of where Immortals players are at all times.
I'm just really glad TSM got a couple turrets, because at one point, we're like counting up the kills and seeing the picks they're getting, and then I was going to take a step back and be like, yeah, but that's actually all they have. There was a point where TSM were getting perfect game by Immortals. Thankfully, that reality has long since passed, but it cannot be understated how big of a lead Immortals have built up and how big their lead still is. The situation is very precarious for TSM, but as you said, they clearly are confident in their team fight, because they're going to have to be. That's all they have.
Yeah, I mean they have a great team fight, and
Yeah.
the like ideal situation where you get that Wukong in the middle of multiple members and the zillion bombs on top of his head for the bonus damage, and everything works out, and the Inferno Malt goes over top, and blah blah blah. Then it's great, and you still can win. So they're trying to at least stay within striking distance to where they can have that ideal fight and be able to actually get something done, right? And TSM have built themselves a pretty big mountain to climb, but they are trying to get back up it. A minute 40 until this Elder Dragon, and we haven't seen Immortals, extend the lead by any means. It feels like they are just trying to play towards these mega buffs, these neutral objectives in the Baron and in this Elder. And as that starts to spawn, the decision-making processes kind of get a little bit more tricky. Where do you go? Are you willing to trade? How many members do you commit to each side? Where do you put your vision? All these things become a lot more complex. And TSM is going to have opportunities to try to out-macro their opponents, to try to make the right calls on where to go and where to be.
Yeah, again, Immortals have lost some heartbreaking games with this roster. So TSM, no, they certainly have opportunities. There's 57 seconds now until the Elder Dragon is up, but Baron also a consideration here. TSM at least going to go ahead and clear out this vision, but this is inviting a potential team fight. Broken Blade, though, is getting real cheeky on the right-hand side.
Yeah, he wants to flank. He wants Immortals to actually chase up into that topside river, funnel up, with their marksman, and they want Broken Blade to come from behind. This could be that fight they're looking for. Look at them stacked.
Smithy's the target here. Broken Blade looking for the spin, finds the knock up onto 2 there as the front line eats a little bit, but there's the counter ulti out of Valorem, gets displaced though, so isn't able to hit it, but Smithy, he's just chasing down Broken Blade solo. That's an easy kill. Smithy's unstoppable.
Smith, he just kites it out, procs the phase rush, drops the Nimbus Cloak, and just kites out the Wukong ultimate, and then chases him down. Bjergsen couldn't actually get back to Broken Blade, and neither Bjergsen nor Broken Blade actually flashed to get closer to each other to be able to get that ultimate off. So it was a good attempt from TSM. I liked the look for a flank there, but it didn't work out. It ended up just being Broken Blade ulting solo onto Smithy, didn't get much damage down, and now TSM, they are in trouble here.
Oh, goodness, Insanity. That looks exactly like that. But he's going to take the lens and back out to safety. He's totally fine as the Inferno Multi's not going to clip him, and Bifrost is still awfully low. IMT are going to commit to this Elder Dragon, and I just don't think TSM can get in here for a steal. The bomb is down, but that's not going to be it. And that's Elder Dragon now to Immortals as well.
Yep. Insanity, he's getting a little bit too spicy with these packages for my taste.
He
is getting really, really close to going down. But now Immortals will just run to the Baron. You have Elder, you have the Soul. You are willing to take any fight. You are down to fight at this point. So they're just going to say, all right, we're starting Baron. Come fight us. Let's go. And it will go down incredibly fast here. But Smithy is taking a lot of damage because there's no Ornn tanking it. There's no Thresh tanking it. They're actually on zoning duty. Looks like TSM's call, though, is just give that up, too, and pray, I guess, that maybe later you do stuff. It's looking pretty rough.
Yeah, the amount of time they've got to wait is running out, but Insanity, he's like the guest on Hot Ones that goes straight for the last dab. He went for the final hot sauce instantly on that play.
This is a ghost pepper. You'll die if you ingest more than 1 dot. And you just look over and he's like chugging from the bottle.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, stop. Don't do that. You don't have to. Just sit by the Elder Dragon. Hold your package. They can't approach.
Got a whole segment to do. All right.
Yeah.
But Saturday did get out. Immortals just, growing their lead further and further. There was, I think, a worry that they would have stalled out a little long. Maybe like some of those feelings of, oh no, are we throwing away another game where we had such a great lead? But at this point, TSM is just kind of giving over everything Immortals needs to finish off this game, and very well, this game could end in the next 2 minutes with this Baron buff up and available to break down some of these towers.
It's definitely possible, but Immortals have still got to show us they can do it, right? There is good wave clear between the Zillion and the Aphelios, so that's something working for TSM. Immortals still have got to be able to close, so they've got to be able to either find the right fight or actually split the map enough that TSM can't answer or find a good dive. Like they still need to actually crack the inhibitors and look to get that game-ending damage. Because for now, TSM is just waiting it out. And the Elder buff only has 1 more wave on it, so as soon as the Elder buff is gone, TSM can be a little bit more brave. They're still in a very risky spot. but you know, they will have at least a little bit more of a fighting chance, and that has just about expired. Immortals will crack that mid lane tower, so that will mean at least one inhibitor does go their way, and they still have over a minute on that Baron buff to try to potentially go for that bottom inhibitor too. But Elder now expired.
Yeah, and maybe the good news for Immortals is that Insanity actually doesn't have the package available, so he cannot he cannot zip in there right now. Instead, it's going to be slow and steady. Nice ult from Aloran to zone them off the tower, and that'll be an easy take on the second in-hit tower as well.
Here's the flank, though. This is potentially the last fight. Broken Blade coming in from behind.
Yep, TP in. Good Cyclone. Needs to get another one in, though. Gets another set of knockups, but the rest of the team can't really join him, and the damage from these 3 marksmen is absolutely absurd from Immortals.
Yeah, they have those Ornn upgraded items on 2 of the 3 marksmen now. They kite it out. They have been very good at disengaging these flanks. And, you know, Broken Blade and Bjergsen have never really been able to get together to actually get that perfect combo off. They are getting zoned out well by the front line there of Immortals. And Hako has been in position to peel and drop the lantern to try to get people to safety. So Immortals disengage that very, very well. They are now really close to closing out this game. And I've just got to say, you know, every time we feel like we get the slightest handle on a power rankings, it's just like, what is going on? You know, coming into the week, everyone's like, hey, Immortals is pretty good. They were close against TL and EG, and then they just get blasted by Dignitas, who has 0 wins, and we're like, no, never mind, false alarm, you know, they suck, don't worry about it, we take it all back. And then they come in against TSM, who Cloud9 just told us is the 2nd best team in the league, and they're trashing them. And it's like, what is going on? You just cannot power rank the teams in this league. It is insane the variance we've been seeing from some of these teams at the bottom. You know, being able to compete with teams at the top, and then the next day losing the ones that are right at the bottom.
Yeah, clearly we can only power rank Cloud9. They're first, and everything else is a big old mess, and they can figure it out. And we can't even trust them to power rank accurately, because clearly TSM, at least this game, not looking like the 2nd best team in the league. It's all Immortals. They're up almost 10,000 gold. 2 minutes 10 to the Baron is up, 1 minute 30 for another Elder Dragon if they need it. Like, we're going to get the last stand pretty quickly here for TSM. As Aloran is going to get trapped in that pillar, but TSM will not commit for that particular kill.
Yeah, Immortals just need to slow play this. Aloran's actually got to back up. You need to wait for your supers. That is how you play this out. They are going to look for the dive here. We'll see if they can make it happen. But
Frost the target into the hook, and oh my goodness, Insanity. That damage just blowing through the shield that he couldn't even press.
All right, maybe you don't need to wait for the supers when you can one-shot the Tom Kench. But super is going to be coming in the bottom lane. They are pretty far away in the mid lane, but TSM just too far down. 10,000 gold, Infernal Soul there. The Ornn item is upgraded, and TSM has not been able to put up much of a fight throughout this entire game. We'll see if they can make anything happen.
Aloran gets a good knock up there. Broken Blade with the counter ulti to try and make something happen, but no Zilean ulti available either. Second Cyclone is it. Double Lift actually kills Aloran, but the hook is good. The Inferno ult's massive, and Double Lift, he will be resurrected. Just in time came the Zilean ulti, and Double Lift is actually going to keep fighting out here. That's the double kill. Are you kidding me, TSM? They're going to keep chasing here, but Double Lift doesn't want to overextend. Xmithie phase rushing out. Insanity's here, but the cutter from the Tom Kench is coming. Double Lift is going to pop in with the Severum. He should have enough to lifesteal through, and he does. Insanity! He's diving through, trying to get the final kill, but the stun from Bjergsen is going to keep the game alive as TSM, in the throes of death, pick up the Bud Light ace.
They don't even look at the explosions. Badasses always walk away. TSM just walking straight away, not watching the bombs. Kill off Insanity, and what a hold from them. It looked like it was just completely over, but Bjergsen and Double Lift combining for an insane hold, and they can actually grab the Elder here now. The AoE damage coming out of that Aphelios was absolutely absurd. He got so many people low, and then because of all the AP that Bjergsen actually has on this Zilean, the ultimate brought Double Lift back at full health. He came back up, and it's a full reset there. The speed ups came through. Biofrost res, had the Tom Kench ultimate, and TSM do hang on for now. I mean, their base is still completely in shatters. We will see Immortals likely grab a Baron here, but still, you've got to at least respect a team that does have that Elder buff, and TSM is going to be wearing it for the next 2 minutes.
And I hate to bring this up now, but one of IMT's losses was to EG, which featured quite the hold from Bangs Aphelios in a very, very late game. And again, some shades of that scenario did remind me of that game in that last team played.
I mean, this is pretty nuts, right? They have Tom Kench dead. They're feeling like they can just go in for it. You know, they are playing a little bit fast and loose, you know, looking for these types of dives, but it's like they feel like they're so far ahead that they don't need to play it more slowly. But Alorum gets sectioned off on the side by Doublelift. Then this Infernal, 4 members stacked up. Look at that AoE. Apollo goes down almost instantaneously, and then guess what? Doublelift is back. He's still got full health because of that Zilean ultimate there. And Immortals, you know, just made that one mistake. Wukong was down, but you forgot about the Infernum. You forgot about the Aphelios ultimate, and Doublelift absolutely shreds him. Barely able to kite out from Insanity. Stay alive there as that final kill goes over to Bjergsen. Doublelift now full 6 items. He is fully online.
Yeah.
Bjergsen just completed his death cap, so...
Oh my god!
There's... When there's a will, there's a way, man. The dream is alive. 9,000 damage. I've seen a lot of games where Aphelios just don't do that much damage in the whole game. The Doublelift just did that in one team fight.
Broken Blade and Bifrost did less damage than Alorum in that team fight combined. That is an extremely unrealistic goal grab.
Oh man, that is something. We'll see though. Immortals, they do have the Baron buff. Elder expires in 25. You know, they've just got to play it smart, right? Like, if you run that situation back and you just wait, there was like 3 or 4 super minions it looked like in the bottom lane. At the very least, there was 2. And you could just allow those to start hitting the Nexus turrets, then hit the top Nexus turret, and TSM can't deal with that. Instead, they got a bit overeager. They try to go for the fight when they could just play it slowly, hit the towers, you know, allow TSM to kind of get corralled back by those supers. They're going to be regretting it now, but they still do have an opportunity as they're still incredibly strong themselves. But I mean, Aphelios is 6 items before the Ashe or the Corki or the Graves at this point. So
all right, Insanity's back. He's got the package. IMT are looking for the kill here. 45 seconds still left at Baron. Xmithie's starting to dish out deeps into the front line. Going to ignite Broken Blade again. They're going to take it the first inhib. Here comes Alorum with the ulti. Or an ultimate to try and end it all. There's the first kill. Immortals just surging in. Make it 2 as the double kill comes through for Insanity. And I think this is it. Surely Doublelift cannot live through this. He's got the Zilean ulti ticking on him, but it's going to go off relatively soon. The QSS is out. He's zooming back. He's trying everything he can to save this game, but I don't think Doublelift can protect the Nexus as Immortals, yes, I believe they will take down TSM.
oh my god, that was a crazy game. Immortals. Honestly, you got to give them a lot of credit. They're sitting, you know, down near the bottom of the standings. They do pick up their 2nd win of the split, both wins with this roster. And now it's looking more like that Golden Guardians game was a bit of a blip on the radar, because when you look at their games against top teams, you know, they've played against EG, Liquid, now TSM here, you know, in this stretch. 2 of those were very close losses. Now they actually pick up the win here against TSM. But I think TSM should honestly be very disappointed with how they played today. They did have some kind of brief moments of